wrap this up quickly.
Bind you within the prison of time. It's time to end this.
Goodbye.
It's about to get mad.
What's good, people? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about a topic that I've been seeing over the internet happen for like the last couple of weeks now. I'll probably even say months even, but I've just been kind of quiet about it because I thought, let me just ignore this because I think this is kind of silly and pointless to even kind of talk about. But as I digress, let's just get straight into it. So Sparking Zero has been out for probably a couple of months now, right? And I personally think this has been a very, very good Dragon Ball game, because this game has gone the heights and lengths in terms of online, and it's done a lot of the good things. A lot of the good things have come from online, and even like playing, let's say, I'll even say the custom battles and stuff like that. But there are some things missing in Sparking Zero, and I will admit that. There has been some things missing. But going into the topic of today of why I'm going to try and digress, I'm going to explain as much as I can, is Sparking Zero and the debate of old Budokai Tenkaichi games. Now, this is where I have to probably cut a lot of people's thoughts on this, because a lot of people might get pissed off with me saying this, but I'm going to say it straight. How can you compare Sparking Zero to a game that came out in the 2000s? It's two different eras. There were eras of Dragon Ball games in the 2000s. There was an era in the 2010s, and now we're in the 2020s with Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. So how can people compare this game, especially online, as the Budokai Tenkaichi series never had online? They did not have online games at all. So it was only you versus your friends, right? It was one player versus two player, and it was pretty much who's the best out of your friend group. When it came to like obviously tournaments, it's still pretty. You still have to fight in person, but other than that, the online wasn't there for it. Online wasn't there for it at all. So people are now saying that the old Budokai games are better than obviously Sparking Zero, and I think a lot of people are stuck in nostalgia. That's just what it is. That's what it comes down to. That's what it is at the end of the day. Now, don't get me wrong, there are still some things that could be better with Sparking Zero, and I'm going to explain them. Yeah, in terms of like the episodes, I think the way they did it is like slideshows, PowerPoint presentations, things like that. It doesn't really capture the stories. Even though we know the stories of Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, Dragon Ball whatever, right? Even Super, we know the stories, we've seen the movies. I would still like for the game in terms of story mode to be as captivating as possible without the slideshows. There are some bits where you can actually get in-game stuff, but for the most part, it's just slideshows. That's just literally what it is. That's what it comes down to. And I'm being honest about that. That's what could be better about the story mode. In terms of other offline modes, I will say that the Budokai Tenkaichi series does beat it, because there's not much offline modes. There's only offline mode that we have is the custom battles and the episode battles. Those are the only two things really and truly. Yeah. When you look at Budokai Tenkaichi 1, 2, and 3, you had the story mode, you had the hero mode, you had tournament, you had battle mode, and then you even had the what if series where you could create your own what ifs and see what happened with certain characters and change certain stories and whatever, right? That's what it was. That's what it's been. So I definitely think that, yeah, of course, the offline mode hasn't been the best. But in terms of online, the online has been great. I think people are complaining about online is because there's a lot of like people who like to spam, or people who just want to use metas and whatever. But despite those negative things, online has been great. If you find real people who spend hours on the game, playing this game with different characters and whatnot, you are going to find yourself having a great time. You're going to have a great time because you're playing people who are like-minded like yourself in the game, and that's what makes the game much more competitive. Also, there hasn't been much tournaments for Sparking Zero. I think there was one like a couple months back, But in terms of Sparking Zero, there hasn't been much tournaments. Crossplay isn't a thing yet. So there are still some things that we want to see going forward, and hopefully it will happen, and I think it will. But in terms of like, as we're talking about modes and everything else, Sparking Zero beats every other Sparking game. Every other Dragon Ball game online wise, because the only other games you can really compare online wise is probably going back all the way from Fighters, even though that's 2D, that's still online. So Fighters, Xenoverse 1 and 2, Burst Limit, Raging Blast 1 and 2. Those are the only games that had online and story modes and whatever. And even the offline modes are great too. But if we're talking online, the best online Dragon Ball game, Sparking Zero is it. This is it. This is literally it. I don't know what else to tell you guys, but this is literally it. There could be a few more online modes to do that you could do with certain things, maybe like team battles, things like that. I think you can kind of do that. I'm not too sure, but actually I think you can. But other than that, I feel like people are just complaining. Listen, guys, I understand the Budokai Tenkaichi series. I love those series of games. I love those games. Those games meant a lot to me. But we have to stop holding on to nostalgia. Otherwise, we're not going to have room to grow for the next game coming. Because I feel like with Sparking Zero, this can last for the next 5 to maybe 6, 7 years. Then we can get like a new Dragon Ball game. Or if maybe Bandai Namco, they're working on something new, something better, so then that way, we get something along the way. Or maybe a Sparking Zero 2 if that being the case. But right now, we don't need anything new. We do need some more offline modes. I did like that they tried to add something new with the legendary Broly face-off. That was good. That was a good online mode. Offline mode. That was a really good mode. And I think we need to see more like that with certain characters who are very difficult to beat in the Dragon Ball universe. So I think if they can go back to that, maybe we work it, add it to where like maybe you can play like with friends or something like that. Or online, like imagine 3 people versus Broly or something like that. That would be cool, because the way that the difficulty was with Broly in the Legendary Face-Off, it was difficult. Guys, go back to my video, you'll see how difficult it is. I tried 2 people, didn't even work. I knew 1 wouldn't be enough. 2 people is not enough, so maybe even 3. But then even then, it's difficult to beat that type of character, because again, the CPU is just completely different for Broly in that mode. So if we can get something like that again, it will be really good for the game. Yeah. Online wise, there's obviously tournaments. There's obviously ranked player matches. There's different rooms you can play in. So and again, if you're someone who grew up with the Tenkaichi games and you're willing to like build room for improvement, even though like you may have certain dislikes for Sparking Zero, but you're still playing the game, I can understand like your gripes, and I can also understand why you think certain aspects may be better. But then even you who's an avid, for people who are diehards, they're not saying that this game is bad. They're enjoying the game, and I feel like a lot of people who are casuals are saying that because they're saying the Tenkaichi series due to nostalgia. So right, they're saying that due to nostalgia. So what do you expect? So what do you expect Bandai Namco to do? Do you expect them to go back and then like maybe change certain things? Of course, maybe they will change certain things. Maybe they'll add certain things. But we can't be going back off nostalgia. If we're talking online, this is probably the best online Dragon Ball Z game we've had. Xenoverse 1 was cool. When it got to number 2, at that point, a lot of people just didn't like it. A couple years later, right? I know for myself, I didn't like Xenoverse 2 as much as I liked number 1. So I just left it where it was. I didn't even bother to get Xenoverse 2 like that, because I just said, nah, this is not interesting enough. I got Fighters. Fighters was cool for a good couple months, and then you just leave it. And then, I'm sure in the height of everything, it was still a good game. But again, Fighters is more like Marvel vs. Capcom. That's just how it was. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, I like Marvel vs. Capcom. It's fun. And that's how that style they did with Fighters was a lot of fun too. But again, like, it does become repetitive, So now we're here. We're here with this game. I've enjoyed it. I know a lot of other people have enjoyed it, but I think people have. Again, like I said, I keep saying this, but it's nostalgia. That's the biggest thing with this. So, how are we gonna move forward? How are we gonna deal with this? I think people just need to play it, give Sparking Zero some more time. And it's not even been out that long when you really think about it. People still need to give this game more time. Alright, there's still some things that we need to wait for as well. Like I said, crossplay. I think I've spoken about crossplay in a couple of videos, right? And crossplay has been the biggest thing. Crossplay has been the biggest thing that could change the game for Sparking Zero. Because once crossplay comes in, we don't have to worry about playing just PC players playing each other or console players playing each other. It can be a whole mixture, alright? And then we can get some serious tournaments going. Because again, we're all playing on controller. There's only going to be a few odd people that might play a mouse and keyboard. Like, you know what I mean? That's just me being real. But other than that, you know, this game has been a lot of fun to me. I've definitely been playing it. I think I've put about 60 hours into this. And to a lot of people, that might not be a lot. But to me, that's a lot. Especially for a fighting game. Alright? Street Fighter 6. I love Street Fighter, guys. I grew up on Street Fighter. I've only put 30 hours into that game. But with Sparking Zero, I put 60 hours in. Why? Because I'll play it every now and then. And then when I do get like really into it, I'll play it for a good solid 2 hours, maybe even 3. And then, you know, of course, you know, you're going to get bored. You're going to get tedious. It's going to get tedious. So, of course, you're going to have to step away, maybe play something else. And that's fine. That's just how video games work. You know, you play it till you get bored, play something else. That's just literally what it is. But yeah, I don't know. I think, you know, like I said, we can't go back in the past. The past has already been done. And we got to remember, the PS2 had no online capabilities. So we can't talk about this game being great online because it wasn't great online. It was only it was a platform game. You could only play it with your friends or with people. You know what I mean? Even in tournaments, was it online? No, that wasn't even online either. So let's just we just have to wait and see what Bandai Namco have next for Sparking Zero, because we've got some DLC characters coming. Well, I think they've already been out now. You know, we've got there's more. I'm sure there may be some more coming. Who knows? But yeah, in terms of everything else, Sparking Zero has been a lot of fun. I think people who are complaining are just casuals, and if you're someone who's not a casual, you're stuck in nostalgia. That's literally what it is. I've said it so many times throughout the video. You are stuck there. You need to get out of it and start playing this game a lot more and start learning the combos, learning different finishes, what to do. That's all it takes, really. But yeah, anyway, guys, I pretty much said what I need to say. I think my next Sparking Zero vid hopefully will me be doing ranked again, because these were some ranked replays and stuff, but unfortunately I went back down from, I was almost at a B4, then I lost so many games. I went back down to the first bar of B5. So yeah, it is what it is. Let me know your thoughts, people, and don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.